Hello and welcome to the series on Microsoft Power Apps. In this video, we'll be looking at an introduction to Power Apps, as well as discussing what you can expect in the upcoming videos. So before we go into Power Apps, let's just give an overview of what you can expect. So in the upcoming videos, this one being the introduction, you'll get an overview of Power Apps and how to use it. And then in the next video, we'll be looking at setting up teams in Microsoft Teams. Then we'll be looking at using SharePoint Online, configuring a SharePoint Online site, and connecting that to a basic Power App. The next video, we'll be looking at editing the Power App, so making some basic changes to the application we've created. And then we'll be looking at, in another video, how to create a Power App using the various templates available. And then we'll be looking at creating an app, a blank Power App, and populating it with our own data. And then from there, you should have enough understanding of Power Apps, and we will be creating projects where we'll go into more detail of the functionality and the features of the Power Apps. So if you don't know what Power Apps is, you can go to the Microsoft documentation. I'll include this URL to the Power App documentation in the video description. But basically what Power Apps is, it is a environment that allows you to rapidly create an application and connect it to various data sources. So if you don't have any development experience, it's not a problem. So you will be creating applications with no code or minimum amount of code. But if you have some development experience with different development languages, it will help you in creating more flexibility and dynamic applications. But out of the box, you can create really interesting applications without writing any code. So in this introductory video, we'll be looking at Power Apps. We'll be looking at getting started with Power Apps and also how to set up our environment. So as this is a Microsoft product, you will need a subscription. If you go over to the Power Apps website, which is powerapps.microsoft.com, you can look at some more information relating to Power Apps, what information there is, and how to use it. I'll also include this in the video description. And you can also try this for free and sign up for a free subscription. If you sign up with the free subscription, you will be required to create to use your company account. You cannot create an account with a Gmail account or Hotmail account or any other free account. It needs to be a company account. But if you do have a company account, you can create it for free, and I think it will be available for 30 days. You can check that out. After the 30 days, depending on the plan you choose, there will be a monthly cost. If you don't want to sign up, you can also register a Microsoft 365 subscription with the developer network. I have covered this process in my introduction to Microsoft 365. This will give you a tenant with the E5, E3 and E5 subscription, which will include Microsoft Teams, SharePoint Online, and Power Apps, and everything else you need to get started with it. The developer network is only for testing purposes. It's not productive environment, but for testing, it does give you a lot of leeway with using the functionality without incurring any costs. So for this video and for the upcoming videos, I will be using my Microsoft 365 tenant, and I will be using the functionality within that tenant. So if you want to follow along, you will need access to SharePoint Online and Teams, as well as Power Apps and Power Automate. So you could also try the free trial, or if you have an existing tenant, you can use it. Otherwise, check out my video on how to set that up. I'll be closing the screen and heading over to microsoftoffice.com. So if you are logged into your microsoftoffice.com, you'll see over here on the left hand side all of the applications you have access to. And if you click on the icon at the bottom here, you will see it will list all of the applications that are included in your subscription. One of them being Power Apps. Power Apps, as I mentioned, is available with the Microsoft 365 E5 subscription and E3 subscription. So if we click on that, it will navigate us through to the make.powerapps.com, and this is the basic introductory or landing page. You can see it also has the waffle menu where you can navigate to different applications, It has the name of PowerApps. You can set up different environments, the settings, and it also shows you your information. So on the home page, we have over here an introduction to PowerApps. It says create apps that connect to your data and work across web and mobile. Learn more about PowerApps. So if you click on that link, it will redirect you to the documentation. And then over here, it also says start from data. So you can see over here, the default data that's displayed over there is SharePoint, Excel, SQL Server, Common Data Services. And if we click on the arrow, you can see the different data sources available to Power Apps. So if we scroll down the list here, you can see Amazon Redshift, Box, Business Central, you've got Dropbox, you've got Dynamics 365, Dynamics 365 for Fin and Ops, you have FTP, you have Google Drive, Google Sheets, MySQL, OneDrive, Postgres, Salesforce, SFTP, obviously SharePoint, I mentioned that already, and Zendesk as examples. And you can also create your own connectors using various APIs and manually programming those connectors. I'll close the screens quickly and let's go back to the home page. Basically, there are three different templates of Power Apps or three different types of Power Apps. So you can create a Canva app. Will be the next application that we create, or the first application we create, is the Canva app. We can also create model-driven apps and portal apps. If we scroll down, you can see we have different templates. So there's a number of pre-built templates that we can use. If we click on that, it will show us all of the current templates that we have available to us. So here we have a leave request, we have a service desk template, we have a site inspection template, we have an asset checkout, my expenses, out of office, quick task, you can book a room, and you've got a contact list, quite a few different templates that you can use. So if we hop over back to the home page, you can see if we scroll down, you also have links to the learning sites where you can get support and view different tutorials. You also have a link under the home menu to learn, and here we have guided learning, help topics, and community. So you can join the community and get additional support and find out additional information. I would really recommend using these resources because they can be quite helpful. If we look at apps, it will list all of the apps that we've created. So on this tenant, I haven't really created any apps, so you cannot see any of them. But once we create a new app, it will be displayed over here. We can also, under apps, we also have the option to create an app. This was the same as a new app. Underneath there, we have our data sources, so our tables, export to data lake, our connectors that we spoke about, custom connectors. So as I mentioned, you can create your own custom connectors. I don't have any in place, so there's nothing displayed there. We have our gateways. We also have Flow. If you're not familiar with Flow, I'll be creating another channel for this, or another series for Flow. Flow is Microsoft Power Automate, where you can automate certain processes. And then again, you have connectors to different sources, such as Gmail, Outlook, SharePoint, Dropbox, Twitter, OneDrive, and many more. So you'd also need a subscription for that. We will probably go through this a little bit later, but we won't be covering it in the introductory section. We also have an option to create chatbots, use Azure AI or different AI models to create different data-driven applications. So in our next video, we will be looking at creating a team using Microsoft Teams. And then in the video after that, we'll be setting up the SharePoint online site and populating with data. This data will be used as our data source to create our first Power App. So before you continue with that video, you need to register with either the Power Apps, as I said, register for their free subscription, or set up your own tenant with Microsoft 365. You can set up your own free subscription with the developer network, as outlined in my introductory video to Microsoft 365. And if you have your own tenant set up already, then feel free to click on the next video and get started with creating your team site. If you have any questions or any comments, add it to the comment section, and I'll be happy to hear your feedback.